And that explains why McLuhan is so difficult to read. However, we're very lucky that we have the musings of his mind written out for us in black and white, because we can now go into Marshall McLuhan's mind by reading his text. I also advise my readers that if they want to understand McLuhan, before reading his turgid text, that they should go to YouTube and look at the various interviews of Marshall McLuhan and get the flavor of the man. He was a guy that liked to joke, and he was a guy that liked to make puns and play with language. And one should first listen to McLuhan before one reads McLuhan. I made some discoveries in writing that book. One of the discoveries was that I felt that figure ground was one of the key elements that tied together many of McLuhan's ideas. He once said, my writing is difficult because I start with ground and work my way around to the figure, whereas most writers just focus on the figure. I'm more interested in the ground, that is, the environment in which a figure exists, because a figure outside of its ground or outside of its environment is meaningless. He also said that I begin with effects and work around to causes. So these are very important clues to understanding McLuhan. So, let's look at some of his main famous one-liners. The medium is the message. Well, the medium is the ground, the message is the figure. The user is the content. The user is the ground, the content is the figure. How about all technology gives you both service and disservice? Well, the service is the figure, which people always talk about. The disservice is the ground. Let me think of a few others. Environment, anti-environment. This is a total flip. He believed that it was artists that allowed us to see the hidden ground of technology. They created anti-environments that made the environment something that we could observe. And so, with environment, anti-environment, it turns out that the anti-environment becomes the ground and the environment becomes the figure. Let's take his famous laws of the medium. There are 4 laws. The first one, every technology enhances some human function. It obsolesces something from the past, it retrieves something from the past, and finally it flips into some new complementary form. So here we have 2 figures, the technology that creates new functions and the technology that it flips into. And we have 2 grounds, the technology that gets obsolesced and the forms that are retrieved from the past. So figure ground is an important way of understanding McLuhan.